Doesn't have any declaration of personal and prejudicial interests or requests regarding the meeting. Right, I'll close this part of the meeting then to ask for questions from the public.
Thank you. I'm Sue Arnold, for those of you that don't know. There's quite a few of us that are a bit concerned about the donation of Vera Heath, the £500. It goes back to the donation being mentioned at council back in October 22. I'll just run through the list of 12 meetings that was had, and nothing's been finalised or sorted out, we don't believe, by then. So October 22, it wasn't mentioned at that meeting. Burial Committee, July 23, it wasn't mentioned at that meeting. Burial Committee, December 23, a suggested use of donation for disabled access. Burial Committee, February 24, suggested use of donation for access works at cemetery. Whether that's the same or not, I'm not sure. Burial Committee, July 2024, suggested use of donation for access work at cemetery again. Burial Committee, October 2024, suggested use of donation for planting the borders. Burial Committee, December 24, border installed, then suggested donation for planting the borders again. Burial Committee 2025, supply of planting was discussed and whether to speak to the John Hall Wellness Gardens. Marfus kindly offered to donate some roses from his garden and suggested for the third time that this donation could be used for planting the borders, plus to install a tribute in her memory. Burial Committee, October 2025. For the third time, it was talked about the donation being used for the borders and to install a tribute for Vera Heath. Full Council, December 25. Vera Heath donation was raised by the resident. Then Full Council, March 25. It was confirmed that the Burial Committee to meet again and it was going to be discussed at that. So questions that we were wondering, were Vera Heath's family thanked for the donation back in October 2022? And why was nothing discussed about the donation between 2022 and 2023? It seems a long time to just sit on money when somebody's kindly donated a substantial amount. The Burial Committee at the time, the decision was made after repeated and multiple suggestions of what to do with the donation to use for planting the borders. And at the October 25 meeting, when the minutes were approved for the February, did the councillors actually read the minutes? Because it seemed to contradict what they approved to what was discussed at the meeting. Do they have contact details for the Vera Heath's family? If not, we do know somebody that does have, to make sure that they're updated and informed after this length of time has passed. And will the family of Vera Heath be actually contacted with an apology for the delay and then informed of what the donation is going to be used for? And actually, when will the final tribute for Vera actually be installed? So I know that's a lot to take in, but if anything can be, actually brought to fruition, to be greatly appreciated.
I can answer a few of the questions. Sorry?
Answer the lady's question.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm well aware of everything.
Yeah.
And it was one of the residents wanted to, with a lot of soil and everything was all over the place.
Mm.
And then they wanted to see what we're going to do with the soil. So I draw the plan,
Yeah.
draw the plan, and all the soil to be put on the side where the wall is.
Yeah.
And the trees, or we plant all the trees. Plant whatever, however I wanted to plant roses.
Mm.
So they said it's very difficult to maintain.
Yeah.
So that money was, at the time I remember this, because one or two people had a chair, what's the name, bench.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll donate the bench and money, whatever. then they said spend some money as well. So I said whatever extra they spend, I will give them.
So
I
is
still hold up my money I have because nobody asked me who to give the money to.
right. So the money's still being held. It hasn't been
Still
spent
give money
yet.
to them from me.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever they will do on the benches, they were spending money and doing something, which I said, I think £4 or £10, whatever it was, I donated, that they're still there.
Mm.
If nobody asked me. Furthermore, we've done everything, then the plant. Then one of the councillors, I can't remember the name, introduced, we have somebody over in League who do nothing else, donate the plants and everything. They took over, and then obviously they done nothing.
Right.
So then I asked Steve, which is the maintenance and everything.
Oh,
and he
Steve
put on
Billings.
same thing. He planted all the trees and everything. But still the money was still there.
Right.
Right. So by the time we had a lot of problems with it, which is obviously you know what I'm talking about
Yeah, yeah.
historically. So I know what you're asking.
So nothing's happened with the money yet. It's just been work in the pipeline that hasn't.
Sincerely, Chairman, is a plan. I apologise for that.
Right. So something needs to be done with it then, doesn't it, to bring it to
That was waiting for
a finality?
One gentleman came to on the meeting, asked us £8 or £10. I said, well, I don't know, you come along, and nothing. But he didn't come back to me. Yes.
May I ask a question? I noticed the first thing that you talked about with this money was about access arrangements, I presume for the lawn cemetery. Why was it changed to looking at the borders? I suppose my question is, are access arrangements still an issue?
Yes.
And if they are an issue, if this money isn't used for it, will money be found to look at access arrangements up there?
Just to jump in on that, adding to it as well, I believe that the access was talked about previously. So then all of a sudden, even though the access had been talked about, then suddenly the 500 was suddenly, oh, shall we spend it on that? That's how it was perceived from some people, which, whether that's right or wrong, it's your decisions, isn't it?
No, not our decision of the family, but they give us the money and we donate.
Well, they've donated it, and then you've got to decide what you're going to spend it on because it's still sat there.
We have had some plans drawn up regarding access.
It's quite difficult even when you walk there. You know, I go down with my husband who's on a stick, let alone any poor soul that's in a wheelchair. Oh, that is ridiculous. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the gentleman that deals with Cheltenham Lawn Cemetery actually went to the trouble of drawing this plan up with the proposed access. It was never progressed because, I mean, as you were aware, last year it was a very difficult year, and from the meeting in February until the meeting that we eventually had in October, we were unable to get any information about what had been done
Because of Louise.
because of the circumstances, because the clerk was off on long-term sick. So we didn't know whether anything had been done about these. Well, apparently it hasn't. So, I mean, what we need to do is to get this scale down and get people to look at it, to get some costs, you know.
So is this what you're thinking of putting the 500 on?
Well, not necessarily, because I think at the February meeting you said that it was agreed that it would be spent on the borders.
On the borders, the planting, yeah.
Some sort of a memorial plaque.
Yeah.
But as I say, over the last year, nothing progressed.
Well, it's been going on since 2022, hasn't it, really? All the
Well,
decision making
that
from
may
when
be
it was done.
Yeah, that may be when the bequest was made.
Yeah.
But
But it's 2026 now, so it's been long enough, hasn't it, for whatever you've decided to get it put into action.
Yeah. So,
would it be appropriate to acknowledge all the question and the historical data that has been provided to acknowledge that this Vera Heath donation has not been dealt with properly, but at this moment in time, it has not been spent. It is being ring-fenced, and on the agenda we've got the Vera Heath donation and the accessibility to the lawn cemetery, and I fully acknowledge the complete extent of the historical trail,
Yeah.
which leaves us lacking,
Yeah.
to be honest. But should we address the questions that have been correctly raised under the agenda item?
Yeah, I don't know if, I would imagine that the family would have been formally thanked, but I can't guarantee.
Well, it should be in the minutes, shouldn't it?
I can look at that one. So the family were thanked via the people that were dealing with Vera Heath's will, because the money came through the will.
So they've been thanked by the solicitors, but not by the parish council.
So the council have asked for the thank you for the money to be sent to the family, because we weren't given the family's details.
Right. And do you have the details now, or is it going through the solicitors, or has it gone through the solicitors?
It has gone through the solicitors.
Okay.
We don't have the details.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, but I have seen correspondence where the solicitors have been asked to say that the council was really taken back and they really wanted to thank the family, and that
Good,
it
thank
would be put to good use.
Yeah.
And the solicitors have come back and said that they have passed that message
Oh,
on.
that's good to hear.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see that.
Yeah.
But as we'll deal with it when it comes up on the agenda, but I'll send a further message
Okay.
to the family depending on what is decided
Mm.
by council.
Thank you.
Can I say, I promise you this, personally myself, I'll see to that, make sure it dealt with professional.
And swiftly.
I'm sorry about whatever happened in past.
Mm.
You can't bring that up, but I will make sure we do.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, please? No? Thank you. Move on to the minutes of the previous meeting. Tuesday, the 21st of October 2025. Are there any matters arising on page 1? Page 2? Somebody then might propose that
I was there, but I can move it, it's correct, if somebody else can hear.
When I was at the meeting, I'll propose it.
can have second.
Thank
you.
You will,
Councillor Worthington wasn't at the meeting,
No.
although you were at the meeting.
Okay, can we have a show of hands, please? Okay, so item 6, we come now to the Vera Heath donation. A decision is required on how the funds will be used. Proposal to confirm how the £500 donation from Vera Heath will be spent. As I said, the proposal was made at last February 25. It will be spent on the borders, but we don't have any records from Clark of what actually has been spent so far.
So, Chair, if I may, the borders, as of October's meeting, it says the borders are now fully planted and they've been weeded. So I'd suggest that the borders are finished now, but the money is still in the earmarked reserve.
Well, can I propose that we have a memorial plaque made up with acknowledging Vera Heath's donation, thanking Vera for her interest in the cemetery.
Yeah, I'll second that. I don't exactly for chair, so I said,
Can I make another proposal?
yeah.
That we consider some sort of appropriate public garden area somewhere within the parish for this lady with a bench. It's a bit of a three-pronged proposal that maybe the monies would be provided or help the accessibility issue, which I know is agenda item 8, or that she was in the Dougie Mac, the Douglas Macmillan Home in Burslem, that the monies be returned or given to Blurton, I think it was, sorry, not Burslem, the Dougie Mac in Blurton. But would it be appropriate, I propose, to approach the family to seek their direction of a number of options of the way forward?
I don't want to put amendments to it, but I had to, what really want to do as chair, for the memorial, but I think we should look at it, the board, whether we can plant some decent plants on the horse. Instead sending money back to, the money should be spent.
And receipts gotten.
Pardon?
And receipts gotten of how the money has been spent.
Yeah, but do we have a look at it, whether it's plant some more?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's, you all want, it's up to them, yes.
Sorry, can I just, for my own mind, forgive me as a rookie, as a newbie. Firstly, who is chairing the meeting? I'm sorry, I'm not clear. Is it Val? Sorry, I just need to address the chair. Secondly, as a member of the public here, how appropriate is it for me to ask a question about what I'm hearing?
Well, you're not supposed to really, because it's not public question.
Right, okay.
We used to have questions at the beginning of meetings, then at the end, and then it was
It's just the
reduced.
things coming up
to
that
just-
I'm
Yeah.
wondering what on earth's going
Well,
on.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get forgotten then.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say something? I think I would not even consider sending money to Dougie Mac, because if it was their wishes to the family, then they would have done that. So I think for us to consider something which the family haven't asked us to do is probably inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
I mean, I agree. It was quite, she wanted to bequeath it to Burial Ground Committee.
Right.
But I do think that we also have some form of acknowledgement that she's, donated this money.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Mary.
Yeah, if I may, in the will, it was for St Edward's Lawn Cemetery, so I think if we do anything, it needs to be in that cemetery really. Also, I think £500 for a plaque is probably not utilising the money very well, so maybe if the borders are complete, maybe a statue or something that people can look at and use to reflect maybe in the grounds, with then a plaque with that. One thing that's been done in another area is a Lonely Man statue, and it's about the turmoil of a person, and it's in a mindfulness garden, and people often sit there and you can see them kind of staring at the statue, but it's a time of reflection, and I think a burial ground fits that quite well. And I think for £500 and for how long this has taken, I don't know, I would just personally feel that flowers in a small pack isn't doing her as justice, because this family have been around this area for centuries. They've been our farmers, our labourers, many different tradespeople. So I don't know, but that's just my feeling. That's not advice as the clerk, that's just my feeling with things that I've dealt with in the past.
Yeah, I would agree that if she wanted it to go to the lawn cemetery, that's where the money should be spent. That was her wish.
That's what I suggested as well, but I think we should allow later on the young man just, you know, any queries he should be able to answer.
'Cause I do think we ought, we ought to move on with it as
I do have a query.
soon
Go
as
for
possible,
it.
because of the length of time we've already spent.
If I may then, if it's been opened up, the question I'd like to ask is, these borders have been set up, and I know it's suggested that various money should be used for that. The money has already been spent on the borders,
Yeah.
so where has that come from, and who authorised that? Because if it's not come from the ring-fenced amount, then there's still the £500 sat there. So I would suggest, as other members of the committee have, that £500 being spent on just a plaque is a lot of money for not a lot of anything, and actually having something that is very appropriate and separate from will be necessary. I would also, though, and I don't know if this is the remit of this committee or not, but if that money has been spent and it's not now ring fenced, there's just kind of an issue of financial probity about where that's gone and what's going on, and I
Quite
just think
right.
it needs clarifying without actually spending any more time where we just push it down the road and we're sat here in March 27 going, why have we not spent £500 on Vera Heath's memory? So I suppose my point is, if the money's already been spent on the borders, and it has, and the committee is satisfied that that money hasn't come from the ring fence, then it needs to be spent appropriately and not just on a plaque.
Yeah. So from what I can see, because I'm obviously fairly new, so I've been looking back from everything. And firstly, I will promise that as soon as the proposal is sorted, and I have emailed councillors saying we need to sort this tonight, and I will hold my word that usually every meeting so far I've followed through on all the resolutions, so it will get sorted. The money was supposed to be going towards the borders, and it was all spoken about. However, I think with the changing of councillors, the clerk being off and everything, the money didn't get allocated when the payments do. So when the payments are paid every month, you're supposed to say some of them are going to in earmarked reserves or what money they're being drawn down from, and that never did. So I think it was originally allocated to the borders, but I think it would probably be disrespectful now to just say, well, let's just put that money back into the kitty because it's already been spent. That's not appropriate. So I think that's why I've put it back on the agenda, is because we can't just backdate something and go backwards. So I hope that clarifies kind
Very
of
much
where
so,
we
thank
are.
you.
So then if the money's been spent on the borders, where have all the plants come from? And have they cost £500? Or is it
I
stonework
think
or
the point is
soil
that
or what?
£500 is not, the Vera's money is still ring fenced.
Right,
It's still
so
safe,
yeah.
it's still secure. The borders have been paid for out of general funds.
Yeah,
Vera's has remained
It's
untouched.
still
There is
there
still
to be
£500
used.
there to be used
respectfully.
And I think that's what is the proposal at this meeting.
Excellent.
That it's decided how that money is spent appropriately. I
Yeah.
think the borders are now
Thank
out
you.
of the question.
Just to show you that will be money spent, as far as I'm concerned, and also Clark has stated as well. So we'll make sure this issue dealt with and communicate with everybody.
Yep, great.
You can't spend without a mandate from a committee.
Well, you can't usually, but they
Could I
do.
make a different proposal then? I know we're hot jumping, but hearing what everybody's been saying, would it be appropriate to make a proposal for a mindfulness statue in her honour with a plaque on it, to be placed in one corner of the Lawn Cemetery?
That sounds good. I mean, I don't know anything about costing these things, but I don't know if £500 would stretch to a bench.
I did a bit of homework on the
Another
internet
bench.
this morning.
So the one in Rugeley, the first one cost £900, but that's huge. And there is ones that are smaller and bigger. So £500 is
It's a
a
doable
decent,
budget.
yeah, it's doable. And if we find someone that's local that can do it, you usually get reduced rates.
Yeah, and the plaque could be added to it.
Yeah.
All I can say to you, I want to talk to that. And if that's the wish of the committee and the wish of the residents, right, I will donate the rest of the money and get that done.
What's the bench?
No, whatever they ask for, a super,
Statue.
yeah. So this may, that issue be resolved then, and we can see it. The next meeting we have, Mario grant, it should be dealt with in this way.
Would you like me to repeat my proposal?
Can we just think about some other things before we go ahead? Just because I want to get this resolved in a timely fashion. So if you agree for a statue, are you agreeing for me to go out and source the best option? Or am I coming back with quotes because that'll delay it?
Since I'm
Through your chair, it's been delayed enough.
Precisely.
Whenever we
As far as I'm concerned, as a chair, which I don't need anybody permission about for the residents committee. I give you authorization, get with all the quote and everything, come back to us and before the next meeting. We have a special meeting for this issue unresolved straight. So if their cost, say, £1,000, I'll pay the 500. Get it all done.
No, you don't need a special meeting if it's just speak to the chair and the clerk together.
Well, that's right, it's entirely, all I'm saying, and we want to resolve this
Chair.
issue, you know.
Could I suggest that as a committee we agree to devolve responsibility for an appropriate sourced statue to a clerk who's
Well,
shown
that's what we're doing, that's what it is.
immeasurable
That's what we're
ability
doing.
to date, and we need to draw closure
Well,
to this
that's
matter.
what I suggested a few moments ago, young lady. Sorry, Sue.
With respect, Chair of the Council, the Chair of this meeting is Councillor Collins.
Well, on that case, I'm sorry, you know, I am the chair of the parish council, like the residents complaining about it, I'm dealing with you, and you best, instead of concluding that, you put putting hammer through. Stop it.
Okay, Chair, shall we decide on the proposal? From listening, I would say the proposal on the table is for a mindfulness statue with a plaque to be purchased and created, put in the corner of St Edward's Lawn Cemetery. We've delegated authority to the clerk to source the statue and a further email correspondence to the solicitors to update the family. on what's happening.
Sounds reasonable.
I propose that.
I'll second it.
Show of hands?
You're happy to do all that?
Yes.
Okay then, so we can rest assured it's in good hands now.
A report back, thank you very much.
Okay, item 7, thefts from graves. We did discuss this at the last meeting, but obviously because it wasn't quorate, we didn't make any action plans. Do you know if these thefts are still ongoing?
I haven't been told about any in our cemeteries. By the looks of it, when speaking on the Clerks Forum, it looks like the individuals are moving from site to site, and that when they're starting to get into the council's public eye, then they're moving on to the next one. I haven't heard, I'm not saying that it hasn't been, but I haven't heard of any, but I still think we need to be on guard and think of the
Chair, we could ask Henry if he's aware of anything.
Not aware of any. I will certainly, when I read the agenda in preparation, I think the wording that you had here about the, it says something about monitoring. There it is in the proposal.